Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Siffany's Walk with Grace. Sorry, it's been a
Good.
while, but life happens, and we're here.
Yep. It has been a while. I think the thing I wanted to kind of open with is our process of using the acronym HOW, being honest, open, and willing. So I want to be honest, open, and willing about how our life has been and what's been going on, and maybe even a little bit of, why we haven't been doing recordings. Um, and you know, is what it is. It's okay. I think when we first started this, it was mostly, when we talked about kind of what's our desire behind the whole thing. Most importantly is to just kind of be able to share our processes
I mean, for
and
me, it was basically like to help people be able to maybe try thinking in a different way that might be useful, or to open up a little, or to overcome, or just different thoughts and ideas. Because for me, like I've had a million people tell me the same thing in different ways, but only one person found the brick that hit me upside the head and made me go, "Oh."
right? Yes. I think we talked about that on one of the last videos that we had done when you started with you started counseling, and once or twice you said you told me the same thing, Mom, but for some reason it just didn't it didn't connect. It connected when she said it. Um, I think that has been one of the struggles we've had of late. Maybe I should say me, but kind of in general, that I, the idea that, when we have an understanding of something, we want to share it, right? Especially if we see someone else struggling and we feel like we have the answer and we give the answer, but it's not really heard. Like, what do you do with that? And how do you manage that? So, um, I think the biggest thing is, compassion. We get what we get really when we're ready. Is it that, why didn't you hear something before then? Why are you just now hearing it? And I feel like life is a process. We can't know it all at once. It's like the timing has to be right. And it's hard to relax into that idea. So, what do you think?
Well, I think that's why we haven't been here for a couple weeks, is because the timing wasn't right.
Timing wasn't right. Yes. Yep, yep, yep. So we can start with that because I feel like there's a lot of, life is very rhythmic. I've been doing, I've been practicing Kundalini yoga, and they talk about subtle energies. And I think it's important to recognize the different, almost what maybe layers of life and all that that entails. So we have our body, we have our mind, we have the spiritual aspect, we have an emotional aspect,
The
we
connection to
have,
nature.
yes, we have the rhythms of the moon, the rhythms of the sun, the rhythms of nature, the seasons. All of that kind of combines, and it's a lot to take in. And I, I think it's impossible, especially in these bodies, because it's like all these energies are happening. It's all honed in into a body. And to me, life is about trying to figure out that kind of stuff. Like,
So that actually made me think. I was watching the show From yesterday. It was funny. I was just telling Grace about this, and here I am.
and
Another
here
one
you
pops
are.
up. It's a really good
Yeah.
show. It's on Prime. Well, technically it's on MGM Plus. So if you do the Prime version, you only get season one, and then you got to do a free trial. Worth it. But anyway, Watched it yesterday, finished it yesterday. And at one point in the series, somebody was like, this is crazy. And the medical professional at the time just starts laughing. And they were like, what is so like, how are you gonna just laugh at me like that? What is this? And she goes, the burning ball. And he was like, what? She's like, it's the burning ball theory. She's like, she's like, we're powered by a burning ball in the sky, and the cold
Zoned in.
ball in the sky has the power to bring it tsunamis and tidal waves. And yet we think that this thought is crazy. But really, the only reason we don't think that's crazy is because we're familiar with it. We're used to it.
Mm,
And I was like, I've never heard that, but I like it. I like it a lot.
mm, yeah.
Mm.
So help me understand that a little better, because that's another piece of our show, right? Is just understanding. So
Yes. So, okay, I guess that
yeah,
would
so
be a
help
little.
me
I didn't want
understand
to
it.
give too much away in the show, but like, think of like Lost meets Roanoke. They all end
Cool.
up stuck in this town, and there's no way out.
Okay.
And all this crazy stuff's going on, and there's these creatures that come out at night, and like, it's there was, I'm not gonna lie, there was a part in season 2 that kind of made my skin crawl a little bit, and I watch a lot of scary movies, so like, if like, certain people may not want to watch it, but
Okay.
it was amazing. It was truly amazing. And so they're talking about like the messed up side of the place they're at, like the supernatural things that are happening to them. And
Okay.
they're like, it's not possible. Like, this can't happen. Like, and she was like, well, you know, really, I mean, the giant burning ball in the sky being the reason we're alive sounds pretty crazy too, but we're not
Seems
scared of it because we're
impossible.
familiar. Yeah, it's
Okay.
impossible if you think of it, but we don't see it that way because we're already trained to think of it as normal.
Okay.
And if you think about it, that gets utilized a lot actually in certain cultures around death, because there are cultures that they are not near as uncomfortable around corpses. There are some cultures that actually every it's either 5 or 15 years, they actually bring them out, change their clothing, give them a bath, give them an herbal rub down so they smell better, and then they get
Wow.
new clothing, and then they rebury them. um
Wow.
yeah, there's actual cultures that do this, and but you can't do something like that if you're not familiar with it, if you're not comfortable with it, right? So, but
Right.
to us that sounds insane. I mean,
Yeah.
just looking at your face like that sounds crazy. It's
You're
backwards.
right.
You don't comprehend
Like,
how you
okay.
can even think about doing that, but to them that's normal. That's just an
Hmm.
everyday part of life. It's their giant burning ball in the sky.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that's
Okay. So,
probably one of the best ways that I can put it to where it really makes sense, like, because it's two complete opposites, but it's the same thing.
okay.
And you have two
So I had a
polar.
light bulb. So is this what you're, another way of saying what you're saying? We have more abilities inside of us than just what meets the eye.
That is also definitely one that would fall into it. Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely believe so.
Okay.
And I now have a psychic investigation team now, and I have a team of psychics now, which is absolutely amazing. And the
And
goal
that's
is to.
something you've been working on while we were paused with Siffany's Walk with Grace. Okay.
Correct. And I have put
Positive.
a ridiculous amount of years of research into this stuff. One of the thing that I've noticed over my research, there's certain people that I do trust, that one of which being Ghost Adventures. They actually helped solve a missing persons case in Denver. Fun fact. And it's not the first one that they've helped, and but anyway, over time as you watch the series, Zach Baggins actually gains access to his third eye, which he did not have when they started, or at least it was minuscule.
Wow.
And so the more you watch the series, the more you realize that, like, he's able to pick up on more, and he's able to sense more or feel more, and it's all because he started opening himself up to it and getting more comfortable. The more comfortable he got with what he was doing, the more access he had to that third eye and to those extra senses.
Mm.
And they've been doing there's a lot of like neurologists, neuropsychologists, stuff like that that have been doing research on this stuff too as of late. I just finished a book yesterday that actually gave names and the PhDs and all the different things and like the different books and the different, printouts they've made and their research notes. And it had all the fun stuff, and I was really intrigued by it. But basically they are starting to see that, like, if that we all have the ability to access a sixth sense, ergo our third
Mhm.
eye. The
Yeah.
problem is that we are not trained to do so, and some of us kind of, in a sense, don't allow it to happen.
Yes, you mentioned the word comfortable. And I think
Yes.
that goes back to, when we're ready to hear whatever it is we need to hear, those things that kind of stick us in our place. The those repetitive patterns, the repetitive bad habits, repetitive thoughts, that those things that keep us stuck, which is why we go to therapists
Right.
usually, and we walk in there hopefully honest, open, and willing to hear something new. So it's almost like when you go to see a therapist, you're going in saying, okay, I'm ready. I'm
Yes.
ready. I'm as comfortable, or I'm at least got myself comfortable enough, even if I'm scared, nervous, and all that stuff. But I'm here. So it's like we've become,
You at least open the door. You might not be
yes.
comfortable yet, but you at least crack that door open. And
Mm-hmm.
once you become comfortable, then I mean, think about how quick some people are able to heal as soon as, ooh, I forgot to mute my phone. For shame, Siffany, you know better. Muted now. Okay. But yeah, I mean, once they become comfortable is when they start to grow, right? And if you're trying to use those senses can't grow. That's really what it is. The
Yeah.
seed is there.
Yep. Yep.
And
But you
I
have to.
actually got to speak to a astrophysicist once upon a time.
Mm.
And I wish I could have like recorded it, because I cannot for the life of me say it the same way she did, hard as I might try. But basically, she said there's energy in everything. So just because the spirit leaves the body, the spirit itself is still energy. And she was
Mhm.
like, she was like, so really, like, where does that go? And then she said, well, the cup is never half empty. The cup is always full. You just can't see what's at the top. That top level that you can't
Yeah.
see, that's the psychic field. That is the paranormal field. That is the energy.
Yeah.
And then she further explained how poltergeist activity can be explained by science, because it's a negative energy buildup, put simply.
Cool.
So someone is spent 4 years in a room pissed at the whole world. That negative energy is going to get trapped in all the corners, and eventually it's just going to grow because there's nowhere for it to go, because it never got opened up and let out and released and cleansed.
Wow.
Yeah, so an astrophysicist broke it down for me, and that was the day that I really started researching all this and decided that this is what I wanted to do, and realized I wasn't insane. But it took someone with a couple of PhDs and masters and this, that, and the other like
Yeah.
to convince me. So
Wow.
it was a cool experience though, talking to her. But
Mm.
yes, I mean I think it's all about opening up, and it's about willing and open. I mean, and honesty, because if you're not honest with yourself, you're gonna be like, well, that's just my mind playing tricks on me or whatever.
Right.
Or, oh, I
Right.
can't actually know how someone's feeling just by hanging out if they don't tell me. Like, you're not being honest with yourself at that point if that's how you feel, because not everyone can do everything either. Like some people are just better at certain things than others. I mean, you have artists and you have lawyers and you have doctors. It's the same in other aspects of life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's where's the focus, you know? So a doctor has a focus on the body, the mechanics of it, and the scientific piece of it. The
The counselor's
it
focus is on the mind.
is on the mind, the emotions, thought and emotion, which was always where I kind of came from, which is it interesting because I kind of fell apart, like I've mentioned before, back in 2015. So however many years that's been, 8, I think it's been 8 now. I started. That's kind of when I feel like I started my healing process. I understood I had not come anywhere near what I needed to healing, and then I had all this time on my hands. So it's like, all right, now's the time. Well, my focus was mostly on emotions and thoughts because I feel like that's just where my focus was.
Mhm.
But even though I vaguely understood that the body is connected to our
Mhm.
thoughts and emotions.
Very much so.
Yes. And that's a little bit harder to grasp, or it was for me. Um, and I'm just getting more deeper and deeper into that piece,
Mhm.
the body, lately, as of late, since starting with the chiropractor and getting into the Kundalini yoga, my focus has been very much more on the physical aspect and learning how to kind of connect that. I feel like I had a
Yeah.
very limited view of the chakra system and how it related to the body. And I feel like that's kind of where I've honed in lately.
Okay. So I actually took some pictures from my readings yesterday, ironically.
Uh-huh.
And there is one that stands out from what you said. So there's everything vibrates. And
Yep.
each vibrational level does something different. A cat's purr has the power to heal them, to a degree at least. It brings healing properties to it. Um, whereas the shudder from a plane being caught in a turbulence is not so pleasant. So each vibration works a little differently, but this was kind of cool. It's the vibrational sounds of chakras. And so this is where you get, the people that just do like the certain tones and just roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first chakra, grounding and interpretation, O as in rope.
Oh,
Oh. No, I did all these for like 5 minutes a pop yesterday, and my body actually feels pretty freaking incredible today.
that's
So
awesome.
just make a note of that. And then like
That's
chakra
awesome.
2, emotional balance, ooh, as in do. Chakra 3, claircognizance and mental awareness, ah, as in father. Chakra 4, clairsentience, astral travel. Now, granted, this was in one of my psychic books, but this was written by people with PhDs and stuff. So, um, that one is A as in play for chakra 4. And then chakra 5 is clairaudience, dreams in the third eye. E as in see. Um, chakra 6, clairvoyance, and n. So M and N. And then chakra 7 is channeling, and it's ng, 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 ng.
Boom.
Yeah, NG,
Cool.
NG, NG, NG. So
Huh.
each chakra has a different vibration that actually will assist in evening it out. Like it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah. You said evening out. Others will say, clearing the chakra, clearing it of blockages. What's another term used? Balancing. To me, it's the
that's the one I
yeah,
put.
it's a lot about balancing. What I find fascinating is that there isn't just one way to do it. There's
Hmm.
not just one, like, here's the vibrations and here are the sounds, and, that's it.
Yeah.
When I do my yoga, there's oftentimes meditation, and he's really big on chanting. He's really big on sound, because when
Hmm.
you're talking about vibration, resonance, it's all sound. So I think there's multiple ways of getting in there. There's multiple ways of accessing it. It's still going to have that same vibration. So for me, we do, let's see, the one that we did was Ek Kar Sa Ta Siri Wahe Guru. And I cannot tell you which one went with which one, but that meditation was all about balancing the chakras. And he went through and said, this one goes for here, this one goes for here, this one's for here, and this one's for here. I'm not going to try to explain how they all go, but the point is there's so many ways of accessing it. You have your interest and you're accessing it in your way. I have my interest accessing it in my way. Um, he
A Buddhist may
sound
have a completely different method than either of us. You never know. I
Absolutely,
mean,
absolutely,
but there's
yes.
that same vibrational level
But it's
still.
that same, we're doing the same thing, but we're doing it from different aspects, from different
Hmm.
ways and different views. And I think that's really cool. I've been interested in sound healing, healing bowls.
One thing
Same
that's
thing,
Sorry,
huh?
one thing that's really cool too that I want to point out is that I think certain vibrations can help us grow. And part of why I say that we've been exposed to vibrations since we were nothing more than just a little bean like that big
Mm,
in your mama's belly.
yeah,
We're surrounded by water. The water is vibration in itself, and
yeah,
then the heartbeat and the blood flow that circulates through us is transmitted as a vibration to the
yeah.
baby.
It's
So
all
really,
vibration.
I mean, I think that certain vibrations truly do have power to help us grow and help us heal because they just I mean we've been exposed to it since before we were breathing air.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think science is coming along and is I think we're gonna have some innovative kind of things coming. In fact, I've heard of one. I have a good friend that has actually gone to this, and it was like a 2 hour session. I think it was all about this vibration and resonance and sound and that kind of thing. And she said how she felt afterward was incredible. Um, about a year into my healing, I was on all kinds of medication and I was feeling worse and worse. And this medication was causing this problem, and different medication to help with that problem. And it was just like this domino effect. And I was just done. And a dear friend of mine took me to a sound healing session. And whoa, it was incredible. I went off all the medications that night. For 2 or 3 days, I felt like I had the flu, but that was okay. I knew something was changing and rearranging, and I had some detoxing to do and that kind of thing. So I didn't fight it, which is one of the things I really want to talk about is how we fight these things. But
And
um,
that's the willing.
and that it is, and how, and we could probably go ahead and start talking about it. But anyway, how incredible that was for me. So I do think the understanding vibration is everything. We could not exist without vibration. To me, existence is vibration in all its forms and facets and connections.
It really is. Your eardrums work off of the vibration. That's how
Vibrations.
we hear. We speak via vibration. If you sit there and just hold your throat like this while you talk, you'll feel it. And
Yeah.
it's everything about us is vibration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.